Okay. Well, um, microphone's a little hot. There we go. Okay. So, tonight I'm continuing work on a lightsaber called Passion and Strength. One of the lightsabers from Jedi Fallen Order. And we'll just get rid of that. Drag that over here. There we go. Yeah. There. That's a little better, right? Okay. So the goal. Oh, hi Larry. I see you're on here. Oh, and Roger's just joining in. Thanks for joining me, guys. Good to see you, virtually speaking. So the goal tonight is I need to finish the Emitter End, and then design a pommel that sort of fits the style of what we've created here. And for those that haven't joined me before on constructing 3D models of these lightsabers, I'm creating the lightsabers in a way that parts can be mix and matched. So you can take the switch from one, the emitter from another, the sleeve or handle from another, and then a pommel, or you could print other parts and create something that's double bladed. So all are within the realm of possibility, because that's kind of how the game does it. That's how you customize your lightsaber in the game. And I thought that was, that's what I want to do. I want to make something where you can actually recreate your favorite lightsaber from the game, but be able to 3D print it and have it as a prop. So, and we were listening to some nice forest ambient sounds as a nice chill and relaxing atmosphere. So let's open up my canvas. We're going to look at what that emitter end looks like. It's pretty straightforward. It's got a larger collar on it, and then basically just sort of a straight cylinder with a little cutout out of it. And then this part is pretty easy. The cut on the inside, that'll be the more interesting part, and that'll probably be somewhat similar to the emitter that I made last time, where I made the indentations there. So, and if I remember right, the lightsaber blades that you can buy online are 1-inch diameter. So we'll also be making the opening for the emitter will be 1 inch in diameter. So if you wanted to add a blade to it, you could do that. So I'm also going to pull up a video of this particular style to hopefully get a better understanding of the emitter end. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so pretty much what I thought. Pretty simple setup as far as the cylinder is concerned. It's got that big button or knob looking thing there. So we'll just start with the basics, and we'll see where it goes from there. Hi Tim, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Alright, so we're going to create a sketch on the same plane that we've been creating sketches on for a while now. And we're going to create it just ever so slightly away from our current piece so that they're not overlapping. I don't want to create any issues with that. Oh, has it? I'm sorry to hear that, man. All the weeks are long. Every week is too long. Alright, so in the picture, and the video, it sort of looks like this main area is about the same size as this overall vent area here. So I think we'll go ahead and match that, and also we want the upper limit to match that. So it looks like we're at what, 23 for that. So we're going to enter 23 on that, and then that seems about right proportionally. See how good that goes. And then we're going to make another one here, and we're going to make this one 25. I think that's where we were at with this guy. Yeah, 25. Alright, and then I guess sort of, well, yeah, right along the middle is where we're going to find that groove, but I need to take care of this little beveled end first. I could actually, you know what? Let's just take that down, and we're gonna add that extra sort of upraised piece a little bit later. We're just gonna stick to the basic cylinder at the moment because I want this to be a little bit easier, because I can find my center on this, and I can go 22 by 1 that way, and then go 22 by 1 this way, and then we'll just connect that. And oops, let's see. It's hard to. Hey, come back. It's hard to tell in the video, but it almost looks like there's like a little groove right before that transition piece, and I guess it would sort of match what's going on with the vent. But I didn't really do anything with that on our vent piece. But reviewing the video again, it does look like there's something going on right next to that transition on either side. So I'm kind of wondering if it's worth doing something about it. And it looks like I actually missed a little cut groove right there. Well, yeah. I mean, I know it's just like a black line, but it makes you feel like there's something more going on there. And so maybe that little detail is gonna like be what we want. So all I'm gonna do is make another rectangle. Pretty much equivalent to the one that's out there in the middle, just over here right on the edge, like that. And I'll go back to this shape and fix that here in a minute. But I wanna extrude what we've got going on first, so I can finish that sketch, and then we're going to revolve. I'll select everything and then deselect the areas that I don't want. And that gets us our basic look there. Alright. It definitely has a chamfer, because that's not rounded. That definitely looks more angular. Even in the video, we can see that it looks a little bit more angular on that piece as opposed to rounded, just along these pieces here. So I'm going to grab my chamfer, and 5 millimeters is a little too much. So let's go. Let's try 3. 3 looks pretty decent. I could go and adjust each distance for the chamfer and make them different distances so change the angle slightly. But I think this is pretty close and it looks pretty good. And then I'm going to do a very small chamfer on our grooves here. Just to give it a little bit smoother look to it. Yep. And then I'm going to round this one off like our other one on the other end of the vent there. So we'll grab both of these and we'll just pull that in a little bit. And it looks like, yeah, okay. Yep, that's what I wanted. Alright, so the things that I'm missing. The things that I've missed on the vent, there's a tiny little groove that looks like it's cut in right here, and then I need to make another trench like this one right next to this transition. Might do it on both sides just so it get that symmetry going. And the gap is temporary. It's just so that so I keep the pieces separated, and then later on there will be ways that they attach together, so that you can 3D print pieces separately and then mix and match if you wanted to. So I'm going to go back into the sketch from this piece here and see if I can do what I'm thinking without messing it up too hard. Just have to find it. Oh wow, yeah, it's way back there. Okay. Alright, so that's the sketch that made that cylinder. So if I go to edit this sketch, everything else should disappear. And then I'll just take this out. And it looks like this, I originally measured that to 23.5 millimeters, so I do need to fix my other one that I just made anyway. And 2 millimeters wide is where we were. A lot of this is just construction lines, so I can kind of figure out what goes where. One thing I should probably do is figure out how much room I have to make this little line here, because it like almost butts up to that cutout, like really, really close. And I don't want to overstep it, and I don't really want to guess at it. So we're going to finish that sketch, which shouldn't really do anything, because I have to change my revolve feature to get that to change. So I'm going to measure. Oops, nope, not that. I don't want to measure the sketch. I want to measure from here to this point. 4.285. Okay, we'll just call it 4 1/4, because that'll make it a little bit easier. Okay, so we'll go edit this sketch again. So if I pull this out, it's going to make it as tall as that, and then 4.25 out that way. That gives me a guide for where the line could just barely meet up to. So I think what I'm gonna do... Actually, we'll just go ahead and use this to construct part of this. We're gonna go out 4, and then I'm gonna come off that corner to go. Oops. And that one, like a half a millimeter, like really skinny little groove. And I want to stay right angled. Come on. Why aren't you snapping to 90? Well, that works. Okay. So that should be good on the sketch. Then I just need to go to the revolve command that this was made. Is it that one? Oh. Should be another one in here. Oh, is it that one? I'm gonna guess it's that one. Okay, yep, that's the one. Alright, so then we can just undo that. And come on. I guess I gotta get rid of the bodies. Why won't it let me deselect that one? Or maybe I have to do it one at a time or something. That didn't show up at all. I don't even see it. Oh wait, I remember now. There was 2 copies of this sleeve or switch. And I just gotta find that one. Must have been. How did I duplicate it anyway? I don't even know where the duplicate came from. I just know that's part of it because if I turn this one off, there's the copy, and the copy has the groove, but oh, that's weird. There's got to be a command in here somewhere where I had, or you know what I could do? I could make this way easier on myself. So I'm just going to turn on the sketch, and we're going to use revolve command on the 2 profiles we want to cut out. Basically, I'm going to add a new command instead of fixing the old one. There we go. So with the other body on, then Fusion is guessing that I want to cut that out. Of course, there's other operations that can happen there, but Fusion is actually pretty good at guessing what it is that you want to do. Yeah, it is. The soothing waters are the only sounds I can play on Facebook without it messing with me. So, and thank you. I'm trying. All right. So there's that. Now I should be able to chamfer this guy. That looks pretty similar to what we got going on, I think. Might be a little bit too wide, honestly. Like it's just a little bit too wide on on this bit. Maybe the same thing for this one over here. Maybe. It's so hard to tell. Like, even watching this over and over, it's just hard to tell what exactly is going on. Oh, and it looks like we've got a little groove that goes across that there, almost like a seam, but only on one side. I don't know if I'm going to worry about that detail. That might be a little bit too picky. But I think I am going to reduce the size on that one. So if I go edit this sketch again, and I say 1.5, and the groove that got cut out should get smaller. Yep. You know, I think it just looked too big because the chamfer sort of, you know, extends the size of it a little bit. Maybe it's too deep of a cut. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why it's bothering me. Like, because you can't really see much of a depth difference there, but there is something going on, and it might just be, you know, the image texture on this 3D file that they've made that's sort of just tricking my eyes into thinking that there's some sort of dip there. But I feel like there should be something there. So I'm going to try this again. And for this, we'll go a little bit taller, a little bit narrower. Because the chamfer is going to take care of part of that. Oop, except the chamfer's mad now because it's going too far. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why, but I think that looks better. I think I might do the same with this one, or at least make this one slightly narrower, but then leave this one alone because I like the way that one is. Because it's pretty apparent in the reference, but this one should be much more subtle. So I'm going to see what I can do about that. Okay, where's that sketch at? $19. Here it is. And we'll just go like half that. And oh, that's right. My overall size ended up being different. Because this is 23.5, not 23 flat. So that whole thing goes up. That means that these need to go up. And then you're gonna be mad at me for the chamfers on there. Deselect that one. And we'll do a new chamfer for this guy. There we go. Yep. I'm happier with that, honestly. Okay, so the reason that I didn't do anything about this secondary beveled piece is because I'm going to do that separate. I wanted to do it separately from that sketch because I want to go about this a slightly different way. So there is a somewhat of a difference. So we'll go 40 on that. And then all I have to do is extrude this. Ooh, 6 is way too much. That's probably fine. And then it is also chamfered. But the angle looks different, right? Like this is a sharper angle, that is not as sharp of an angle. It is still chamfered, but just not as much. So in this instance, I need to have 2 distances, and this distance can be something more like 1.5. And then from the look of it, it does need to, this edge needs to be softened just a little bit. So I can pull that down. So that way we get that sharp decline and then not as sharp of a decline for that secondary upraised portion. Turn on my canvas and make sure that proportionally I'm still looking okay. Because maybe not, because the chamfer on this looks not as big, right? So, okay, here's what I'm thinking. This is what I need to fix. We're gonna go into this chamfer and we're gonna make it smaller to match this one, and that'll make our emitter end larger. I believe it was the first chamfer in line. Yep. Okay. Now if I remember right, we only did a 1mm chamfer on those other ones. Doesn't look severe enough though. Let's go with 2. See what that looks like. Still a little bit much, isn't it? Look at this again. Okay, so maybe my eyes are tricking me, but to me it does look like this chamfer is larger than these, right? And then this section is just longer than the chamfer. So proportionally I'm close-ish, but I think, let's see what happens. I'm going to go out 1 more millimeter. Did I do it? Or did I back out? There we go. Okay, that's looking a little bit more correct to me. Yeah, I think so. Alright, so now this weird part here, we've got sort of a slope inward to what would be where the blade emits, or for a static prop it would be where you would insert the blade, and we know that hole has to be 1 inch in diameter. So that could be the first cut that I make. I might be able to do this sort of the easy way. We're going to find out. I'll make another sketch on the end of this. And we're going to go 25.4 because that's 1 inch. We're going to go 25.5 because 3D printing is, you know. Oh, thanks Choppy Choppy. And thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Alright, so that is how big a lightsaber blade is. So if I cut that out, that looks bigger, doesn't it? Yeah. Proportionally speaking, a 1 inch blade is going to be too big for this particular hilt style. I could still make this sort of inspired by, you know, do a chamfer cut in on those details, you know, along there. Maybe I can still make it work, because the way that I was thinking about sort of cheating this is taking this edge and just seeing what happens whenever I pull it out and chamfer it that direction. That's a little too much, because we've got a nice flat area before it slopes inward, and the slope inward is pretty shallow, so maybe we do need two distances, and this distance is only going to be like 2. Maybe down to 3. Doesn't seem like enough, does it? Got to be enough so that it seems like a slope, but not too much that we lose our profile. I could, of course, just scale up the whole thing. Here, let's just see what we're working with so far. So if I grab both ends without a pommel, we're only at 10.5 inches, which is pretty okay. With a pommel added, we would be right at about 11.5, which is about where we want to be proportionally speaking. So theoretically, there's nothing wrong with the size of the design. It's the fact that it has to be so big to accept a prop blade that's making it more difficult to create the emitter accurately. Now let me double check and make sure. Let's see what. Grabbing a random listing on Etsy. What is light? Are they going to tell me what the sizes are? Most blade options are 1 inch unless otherwise labeled. So most are 1 inch, but then they do have some 7/8 inch options, which means, okay, so if that exists, then 7/8 is an option that you can get. And if that is a viable option, then let's convert that to millimeters. And we're gonna reduce this one down to a 7/8 receiver. So we'll go down to 22.3. Might save us a little bit. Oh yeah, yeah, that's gonna work like tons better, isn't it? Just that eighth of an inch, and all of a sudden it looks correct. I am gonna edit this feature though. Want to go out 3? Okay, that would be a 3 by 3. So that would be like a 45-degree angle, right? But I think it's supposed to have, at least what this looks like, it looks shallow. So it's big and shallow. So if I go out, well, let's try to split the difference here. Let's go out 3.5 and see what happens. And then this direction will go just like 2. Try to make it as shallow as we can without it being just outright flat. I think that's probably as good as we're going to get as far as that's concerned. So let's move on to seeing if we can get these little vent things to show up on this chamfer. That's going to be interesting. I'm going to create a new sketch, and we're going to create it on this plane, and then basically, okay, so it's like 4 pieces. Alright, I think I know what I'm going to do. It should be relatively easy. So we're going to create one circle that's just slightly smaller than that. Instead of 29.3, we're going to go 28 that way. And then we'll make another circle that's just slightly larger than our opening there. Right. Okay. And then to create the little bridges, we'll go with a center rectangle, I think. Because then, okay, come on. Center rectangle. Alright, then we can grab this, and we can go like that. Okay, so we'll say 1, 5, sure. And then go this way. No, not a 2-point with the center. Then we want to go this way. 1 wide. That long. Then I should have these shapes. Yep. Those shapes ready to go. Finish that. I should be able to grab extrude. We'll grab these. And then we want to go from this object -1. Aha! It worked. That's what I want to see. And it does look like those are sharp right angles, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going to make sure that there is indeed 4 of those sections. Looks right, yeah. But it does look rounded as it goes in. So it seems like I need to fill it. This one. Make it a bit of a smoother transition. Welcome back, Tim. Just see how far it'll let us go. it'll let us go pretty far actually. I don't want to go too far. Probably where we want to be. Hit okay on that. And then let's see if I can fillet these top edges. It's a little bit softer. Not a lot. I just want to see if I can do it without it getting angry at me. Okay, so it's going to let me do that. That's definitely too far. Maybe I should be grabbing all the interior edges. See what happens with that. I didn't like that. Okay, so it's okay with 1/4 of a millimeter on that. Let's ungrab those edges and let's grab just these 3. Curve is broken into 2 pieces. Yeah, okay. So it doesn't want me to do that. But I can just grab the top edges. I mean, it's really hard to tell that there's anything going on with. Or wait, maybe what I. Okay, hang on. What if this was before that? And now, okay. Idea. Let's make our sort of smooth transition thing that. And will it still, okay, yeah, it still cut it out. It's just a lot smoother now. But it does stop at kind of a weird spot there. Maybe that's because the fillet didn't go far enough. So, let's see. It does not let me do 2 distances. Chord length? Is that what I want? Nope. Constant radius. Let's see what that does. Oh, that's a lot closer. Yeah, so it still has the slope inward, but it's a lot smoother transition now, which I think is more representative of what's going on in the original picture here. The one thing it doesn't have is that in our original picture, it looks like it's got more of an inner border there than what we see in ours here. I could sort of give it that by editing our sketch wherever it went off to. Yeah, there we go. Because if I make those big, because that part doesn't matter. Hey, where's it? Oh, that's diameter. Nope. Where's the rectangle? That's that one. That's the one I wanted to move. Okay. Yeah, so if I grab this diameter, let's push it out a little bit, and then we'll grab the inner diameter of wherever this one went. Where'd this one go? Oh, you're in here somewhere. Come on now. Where's your... Am I missing it? Am I missing the number? Where's the number? That 35 is for that rectangle. That 35 is for that rectangle. 32 is for the big circle. Where's this one? Maybe I could just make it another one. Because we just want to be slightly larger, right? Okay. Now I just need to fix the extrude so that it is the correct sketch pieces profile. Unselected. What is going on with this thing? There, 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 there. And select that as our object. Okay. Okay, it's got a little bit more of that. A little bit more of that center border there, but now the vents just seem too far out there, don't they? Yeah, maybe I should go back to where we were. I mean, it's the blade receiver, so it's gonna, I guess, you know, you just kind of have to live with what that end looks like, even though it's not 100% accurate. I could still try to fix this like a tiny bit. Maybe just not as drastic as I was doing before, you know. We'll just take it out like 2 millimeters, right? Right now that's at 23. We'll take it out to almost 24, or almost 25-ish. And that didn't change anything because we have to edit our feature, select everything, and reselect our profiles. I want these from that, and we'll say oh, well, that did not do what I wanted it to. That's totally not right. From object, this thing. Yeah, from object. No, see, that's not cutting it right. That's like cutting straight in instead of following the curve. Was I doing that already? Was it not following the curve and just cutting straight in? Oh. So maybe it's not projecting to the remote surface like it's supposed to. Try this again. You know what? We're just gonna delete that feature altogether. Let's try a new one where we've got the 4 pieces that we want. Start from that object, -1. That looks more correct. Yeah. And we've got a slightly larger border there. So that's That makes me happier. It's not exactly proportional to the original since we had to move some things around. Oh well, thank you, Duck Lover. That's really really nice of you. Yeah, I just kind of do this because I like doing it. Hopefully, we get some more people to come and join us and and check it out and stuff. You know, that'd be really cool. But yeah, I haven't been doing this for real long, so I don't expect people to jump on real fast. So let's look at this button. That's this giant knob. It looks like, let's see, that one's there, and that one's there. Then that means it goes on top. I mean, on the top of the view that we have right now. So, or well, I guess the bottom? Yes, the bottom. Okay, yeah, because that's the view we're looking at now. So it'd be on the bottom. No problem. Alright, this should be a really easy shape. It's got that black stripe on there. Ooh, this view right here. Yep, that shows us it's got that little cut in, and you can almost see the highlights of the chamfer. Underneath the button, it looks like it's got kind of a cone-shaped, semi-cone shaped attachment there. So we just need a basic cylinder with a groove cut out of it, a little cone-shaped thing to attach it to, and then I guess that's just a little indentation in the top with some fillet to make it look nice. So let's see if we can do that. Ah, that's really nice of you, Duck Lover. I appreciate that very much. I hope people come on and enjoy this stuff with me. We'll see. We will see. All right, let's jump into this. So I'm thinking I could go to my bottom view here, create a tangent plane to this. It should be, yeah, that looks right. Okay, and that means if I create a sketch there, now I'm looking at the bottom. And I should be able to sketch right on top of this and make it the appropriate size. Okay, so we need a circle, and man, that thing, it looks huge, right? Like, it looks like it's almost the whole width of this thing. It's like kind of ridiculous. But we're gonna go to the middle of that, and I thought I had that groove centered. Uh-oh. I might have something to fix here. It's, which sketch was it? 19? Because it said this was the center, but I guess it was the center of from here to here. So I need to move this over. Pop that over one. Oh, you're gonna grab the whole thing, huh? Okay. What if I get rid of these constraints? How about that? Aha! Okay, just eyeballing it, that looks a little bit more centered, so to speak. Alright, let's go back to our new sketch and see how this fares. Okay, yeah, that was a lot closer to center. And it's gonna be, oh man, it's like, it's so crazy. So if I go like 1 inch, then that actually looks pretty accurate to how big this thing how big this thing is supposed to be. Like, that's crazy. Maybe, let's see. Cutting grooves into cylinders has been easiest with the revolve command, which means I need to have a profile view. You know what? I'm doing this wrong. Doing this all wrong. Let's get rid of what we were doing. Let's go home. Okay. Let's create a sketch on our base y-axis plane. And then that means we can come down here. I should probably make some construction lines so I can snap to the origin. Come on. I know it's way out there. Alright, just make that like that. Okay. Construction line. There we go. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. And then I should be able to grab middle there. And we're going to float it just a little bit above that. Construction. There we go. Okay. Now, I should be able to grab that rectangle. Alright, so we know that this distance was 25, and then the height of it, just proportionally speaking, I feel like is it like that? Oh man, yeah, it is. It is kind of tall, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Now I just need to move this. Or well, technically I could still do what I'm doing and then move it after I'm done doing what I'm doing. So then I need to create a halfway point, and then the groove is not in the middle. It's more towards the top than it is the bottom. So something like this, right? That looks about right. I would say it does. No, sorry, I missed your comment there for a minute. I get into too much focus. So I actually sell the models on CG Trader, and I'm trying to get to a point where I can get them up on Etsy as well. I don't sell them for very much. And I know the designs are technically fan art, but I do have a 3D printer, and the project started as the intention was for me to make the parts to the custom saber that I like to use in Jedi Fallen Order, and then 3D print that and finish it as a prop to have here in my office. And then that just sort of turned into, well, why don't you just do all of it and make it so that people can mix and match parts and make their own kits out of it and stuff. So and I also offer to print the kits for people so that, if they don't have a 3D printer. So it just kind of turned into a larger project than originally intended. But yeah, the original intention was for me to 3D print them and then make them available for people to the files for people to purchase and be able to print themselves, or if they wanted to have me print them a kit or something, then I could do that. That's kind of where I'm at. All right, let's go here. Although, you know, that groove looks almost as wide as that one. I should probably go a little bit bigger, shouldn't I? But now that's in the wrong spot. Well, you know, I would print one for you, Tim, if you wanted one. And why? No, we don't want to do that, because that's just guesswork. We'll just do that. That's easier. Okay. Lots of little rectangles. Alright, so now I should be able to grab my revolve command. This, unselect that. Pick the middle as my axis. New body. It looks like it's all weird and in the wrong spot because of where I drew it, but because I chose new body, I can move this part independently without it interfering with the rest of the saber. Gosh, that just looks so huge. I mean, it looks kind of oversized in that view too, but I don't know. Just too much. You know what? I'm gonna go smaller. I can't do it. It's gotta look good. More concerned with it looking good than it being accurate. I thought all this was locked. Damn it. Okay. You know what? You just go away. Nobody likes you. There we go. Let's drop that down a little bit. Okay. So I took this down to 22. So then I'm going to take this down to 10. And then I'm going to make my 2-point rectangle attached to the center line here. Go like that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you, Tim. I am in agreement. Alright. Yep, the revolve command is mad at me because it can't find the profile that I had before. Okay, trust me on this. Come on now. Grab these. Rotate around that. Okay. You happy now? That looks a little bit more proportional to me. Like, it's still kind of weird and clunky, but I mean that's the design. so I think that is a little bit better. All right, now to make the transition, all I have to do is grab the top of this, extrude, and then taper a negative number. Or no, because our connection is smaller than the base. Yeah, you can see right there. It starts offset from the overall circle. Okay, thank you, Duck Lover. Really, really glad to have you. And yeah, I totally understand it's late. So yeah, get some rest. Hope to see you in a future stream. Oh, thank you, Mitty. That's really nice of you. Unfortunately the game vid I can only make it as big as my screen. I can't. I don't seem to have a player that I can zoom in on. I mean, maybe if I right click. No. I probably need to open it and like. What's that streaming player called? I forget the name of it. The one that's got like the little orange emergency cone for an icon. But all right, so I'm gonna make a sketch top of that, which means this needs to go away. We need a center. There it is, down the center. And our circle's 22, so let's go down to 18. See how that looks. So then we should be able to extrude from the 18. And it's 30. That looks a little bit better. The angle's a little bit extreme. That's pretty easy to fix. That's a little bit better. And I'm going to be moving this a little bit, so I'm not terribly worried about it for the moment. All right. I'm going to combine this and this. Okay. And for some reason it's not centered on that. I guess I need to fix that. Alright, come on, let me... There we go. That looks pretty close, I think. Oops. I wanted to move that up as well. Okay. And then... Does it really sit that far away? I don't think it does. Because it looks like it sits pretty close, but then there is a gap there. There's a gap. It's just really hard to tell how much of a gap. Like right here in this view, it's easier to see how much of a gap there is, but maybe not that much. So let's move it again. See if I can't get this a little bit more precise. Yep, just a little gap. That works for me. And then the extrusion looks pretty good there. So then I'm going to use my combine command. Use this as a tool body to cut. Keep tools so it doesn't delete itself. And now if I get rid of that, you should see, yep, a little beveled insert. And then I'm going to grab the top of this and we're going to pull it through so that it cuts, or well, actually, you know what? This button doesn't need to be functional. I don't know what I'm doing there. This button just needs to be permanent. I'm so used to making buttons that can like be removed or I guess we could keep it as a separate piece so it's easier to print. That would be a thing that I could do. So using it as a cutting tool and leaving that, so we could call this the emitter detail. And just keep it as a separate piece so that people can print it separately if they want to, and then when I export it, I can export it as one solid piece or into two pieces so that people that have the file can choose whether they want to try and just print the whole thing with supports or if they'd rather have two separate pieces to assemble later. Alright, so that is almost the emitter end. We have one more piece to do. That's on the bottom of it because it's got a little indentation there. Nothing complicated. Should be pretty quick. Need to grab this middle. Don't need it to be really big. Just kind of guessing at the moment. Oh, maybe it does need to be bigger than that. Oops. Alright, let's go 10. And then -1, fillet, 1. There we go. The question is, does that look proportional? No, it does. Does it? It actually looks pretty close. Close enough for me, anyway. I'm gonna do a very small fillet on our top and bottom because it just makes things look nicer. I don't like those super hard edges. Yeah, just an itty bitty bit of a round over there, so that it doesn't look too terrible. And then to match our chamfers on the other part of it, we do need to chamfer our groove. Wow, that's too much. That's a little better. Not 5-1. Okay, hang on. Alright. We're gonna go. Put 5 on that. And then we're gonna move it. Where'd you go? I don't think it's a way for the belt to hook up. I also don't think it's a button. I mean, it could be. So on a lightsaber, there's blade length adjustment, blade like girth adjustment, and so and then of course there's like the on and off. So that knob being right on the emitter, it could be something that adjusts the how wide the blade is, or maybe that's the length adjuster. I'm not sure. But in terms of 3D printing a prop, I don't think it's something that you'd want functional on the piece because it's right where the blade receiver is, and that'd probably be really hard to deal with as far as like making it into a prop. All right, we're gonna grab these up. Better. Maybe just a little bit more. Tiny bit more. And I swear I'll leave it alone. I want to move this like 0.5 millimeter. Okay? 0.5 millimeter. Okay, I'm happy now. The belt hookups are either usually D-ring style or in the prequel trilogy it was a cover tech clip, which was like a cell phone clip back in the 90s. The newer ones, the newer trilogy, I'm actually not sure about clipping onto belts and stuff, but that's almost always on the pommel. I don't think I've seen many lightsabers that have the clip where the emitter is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are lightsabers that have that, but nothing that I can recall off the top of my head as far as that goes. Almost all of them I've seen, the way to connect to your belt is usually somewhere on the pommel. So that's most of what we got going for this lightsaber. I do need to design a pommel for it. In our last model, I'm going to open up Peace and Justice. The pommel end looks like I just tried to follow the pattern and textures of the rest of the saber, a couple little small details, and then on the underside here you have where your D-ring passes through, and then this interesting vent pattern design, which we can totally steal that vent pattern design from this one to copy into Passion and Strength. But just for inspiration, I've got some references here for different pommels. Although the pommel that we're working with now, Passion and Strength, is not part of this reference. Now, this reference is from the Disney World build your own lightsaber thing. So it has some of them that are a little bit similar in name and style, but nothing quite like what we're doing with Passion and Strength. Oh, that would be kind of cool. I mean, magnets are always cool. Magnets make everything cooler. This end cap is really simple. I like that. I like that it's simple. Our design here, I feel like we need a pommel that is, let's see, that end cap is also pretty straightforward. Not a lot going on there. Power and control is actually one that we're going to end up doing. So I don't want to dig into that too much. This end cap is kind of interesting. It's got a much larger area for a D-ring to pass through, and it's got kind of that conical shape to it. That could look interesting with this one in particular, but... Oh, hi Kristen. And Klutz at the same time, who are two totally different people, of course. But this one's pretty blocky. It has just some straight up cylinders going on, not a lot of... This one didn't have as many little details as our first one, Peace and Justice, which had, you know, a little bit more going on as far as like figuring out what I might want to do with it. So for this one, just kind of thinking through this. Again, I don't want to outright copy what's going on with these, but, you know, just looking for some inspiration to sort of work this out. This one's kind of interesting. It's got the little cube bits on it that make that kind of interesting. This is the one that we ended up designing for our version of Peace and Justice. Ugh, my foot keeps hitting my modem, and one of these times it's going to knock out my internet, and then... Oh, yes. Build a saber at Galaxy's Edge. Oh, my God. If I ever get to go to Disney, obviously I'm spending most of my time in the Star Wars area, because I would totally save up the money to make sure that I could build a lightsaber while I'm there, because it's like a whole show when they do it. Like it's crazy. Let me see. So in Fallen Order, the pommel end or end cap of the main character's saber really didn't have a lot going on either. It was all torn up and stuff, and even when you first upgrade it, it's got kind of this weird sort of spike. You know, it just kind of gets narrower and narrower, and then just has a little, kind of almost like a plug on the end. I don't like that one as much as, especially for this particular style, because this looks very classic. So I'm almost wondering if maybe what I should do is sort of emulate part of what's going on with our emitter end on a pommel, and then maybe have the D-ring attachment coming off the side instead of on the top, because then that might be a little bit more like, oops. So that's got it going like right through the middle. Not sure about that. This one's got it kind of sticking up off the side there. I'm kind of thinking like, you know, just sort of along the middle of the cylinder, just to make it. Yeah, I think I'm just going to emulate what we had going on here, just on that end. Let's keep it simple and see where we go from there. So we're going to minimize our sketch palette. I don't really use it. Okay, lock on there. That should be, okay, so that's 25. That's 21. So yeah, let's start at, oh, that's 22. Okay. All right, yeah, let's start at 22, and let's go out 25. Because that'll add a solid inch to our overall saber size. Let me go a little bit bigger, maybe 26. The face of the pommel, I'm probably just gonna borrow the vent pattern from Peace and Justice, because that's looks pretty standard, and you know, give it a little bezel detail, because then if somebody does want to install like a sound module, then it would have, you know, somewhere for the sound to escape. Like even on my Master Replicas sabers, there's a little vent on the bottom, no matter what the shape ends up being. I'm also thinking maybe making a larger piece on the end of it. Here, I'll show you what I mean. So, first thing I'm going to do is, oh, no, I don't want a center rectangle. I'm going to find my midpoint and go 21 on that way. One that way. Connect the dots, and then make this guy 24, 5. Okay. Maybe not 25, maybe give it a little bit of a difference. Yeah, something like that. And then for our inside sort of cutout, do that. Try to do as many of the actions as I can in one go. And then we'll go ahead and chamfer these guys. And then we'll do the fillet on that. And that definitely needs to be a little bit bigger. Or, well, I know what I mean. I don't know how to say what I mean. Let's try that. Yeah. Yeah, I like that better. And then we'll grab a fillet here. So it's got transition like that. Right? Really basic end cap. A little bit smaller than the other parts. Which is bugging me now, so at first I thought, okay, I'll go a little bit smaller, but turns out I just want to do what it was normally. There we go. Does that look too big? Yeah, I did like it smaller. Damn it. I don't know why, it just looks better smaller. Now let's see. We could... Ooh, I've got an idea. I have an idea. And I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna push this back up to 25. Then we're gonna make a secondary transition that's at the 23.5 mark. 3 millimeters wide. So it's gonna have like a stair step effect. Of course, it doesn't do that yet because I've got to fix my revolve command and add that guy in. And then do another fillet. Yeah. Now we're looking like more like a pommel. Or end cap. Whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter. Okay. Gonna go ahead and grab steel. I'm gonna steal the sketch of our vents, this cool thing that we did there, and move that over to our current one, if I can find it. I think I'm close. Was it this one? Yes, it was. So if I go into Edit Sketch and I select all the things, Control C, and then Create Sketch and Control V, yep, it should plop it right down where we want it. Sweet. Makes things so much easier. So then I should be able to take this. We'll cut in a little ways. Right? The other one does. Yep. Cool. Ah! Alright, then I just need to cut the other hole there. Let's just turn all that off. So that we can go this way. Actually, you know what? Now we're going to make this easier. We're going to go like this. We're going to hit extrude. Oh, come on. No, I just want the circle. Give me the circle. The one closest to the handle is a bit too wide now, since the stair step shortened the other a bit. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think maybe stair stepping up to the sleeve part would also be a good idea. Yep, I think you're right on that. So why don't we go back to this, and we'll just put in another one. Hit OK on that. Back to our revolve, wherever it ended up. Add that back in. Fill with that guy. There we go. Now it stair steps down and back up. I think that works better. Okay. I need to figure out how big this is. Diameter 30. Okay. So we need to cut a 30mm hole into this. Not quite all the way to our base, because we don't want to go through it. Alright, so 31 minus like 3mm, so 28. There we go. Now we can see through it. Yeah, looks pretty good to me. Okay. So we'll call this... Did I call the other one Pommel? Is that the term I've been using? Yeah, Pommel. Okay. Just making sure. Alright, then we're going to put our D-ring attachment on the side of this, because that's kind of the whole deal with this lightsaber so far, is that it's got a very cylindrical look, and then it's just got these weird bulky items just sort of sticking out, you know, off of random places. So I feel like if the D-ring connector was just sort of sitting on top here, then that would probably work out okay. I just need to figure out what I want that to look like, and I'm kind of feeling like, okay, I think I know what I want to do. We're going to see how this works. So we're going to make a sketch in the mid-plane, and then we're going to we're going to do a center rectangle so that I can be close to intersection here. And let's see. We determined. This one is called Passion and Strength. I should probably put that up in the stream, shouldn't I? There we go. Okay. What was I doing? Right. So determined last time how big the D-ring clip needed to be, or well, the hole for the D-ring needed to be. And I'm trying to remember. So let's just go ahead and we'll measure it. It was 3.75 millimeter diameter. Okay, so that's at least the size hole I need. So that means if I make a rectangle, then it needs to be at least, let's go ahead and go 6 wide. Oh, that's too much. See how that does. And then I'm gonna split that in two. I want to make a 2-point circle. Not sure what my scale is here. Okay, I think each little square is 0.5 millimeter. So 2 millimeters. 3.75. Oh no, I don't. Do I want to? Okay. Wow, Kristen. I mean, I guess that could be made into a meme of some kind. Sounds like. Okay, I'm gonna try something here. What I want to do is I want to revolve this, but instead of around itself, making a cylinder, I want to revolve it around this axis, and oh, that's just too much. All right, we're gonna go. Go symmetric. Let's go 30 degrees. Or is that too much? Might be too much. 20? That's a little better. Okay. And then I was thinking maybe if I took these edges and used fillet. No, that's not working for me. And I think it's because it's that like weird angle thing going on. I should have built it from this side and just made it a solid block. That's kind of what I was thinking. Okay, new plan. Delete that. Let's just extrude this whole thing symmetrically. So we're at like 16 wide now. Most D rings are going to be 1 inch, so that'd be okay. So I could go out to 10, and that would still be smaller than the D ring. Now, no, I didn't want to cut. Poop. Bridging the other direction. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, but what I'm thinking about doing is, yeah, just making a solid rectangular block, then grabbing my edges here and rounding those off, and then grabbing, you know what I could have done, darn it. Okay, let's go back into this again, edit that feature, undo that. Now it's got a hole. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. Basically. And I can go, thinking I'll go a little bit wider. Oh, come on, it was a center rectangle. Why are you doing that for? Alright, let's try that. There we go. Oh, turn it sideways from where it's at. I don't know. I kind of like... Oh, I see what you mean. So that it would like... Okay. I don't know. I like... For some reason, I like this direction for it. Because I get what you mean now. But... I'm kind of sold on the D-ring passing through an object that is this way as opposed to this way. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and fillet these two edges. Give it a little bit of a softer appearance. Yeah. And then I just need to make sure that... Aha, see? There it is. It's sticking out there. Need to get rid of that. So I can just go to press pull. Should be able to just shorten that up. There we go. I mean, I think that works. I think I can push this down a little bit farther, closer to the pommel. So why don't we do that? Yeah. And then I'll need to press pull that. Press pull this back up a little bit more. Hopefully it didn't lose anything. Nope. Cool. So now I should be able to combine those two together. And now that's one piece. hit home. All right. There we have it. Passion and strength. The secondary version of passion and strength. And this is something that the game does that I feel like is interesting, but I'm not always sold on doing it for particular models. But like, okay, so that's the one that we did. But the other version is where the vent area is your grip, and then where we have our vent is what our grip is now. It just swaps the two. Yeah, nice butt of the saber. It just swaps the two components, and I mean it looks a little bit different. It'd be pretty easy to model, except for just shortening up these pieces here to make it fit the switch area. Pretty quick to model those out, but I like this configuration as far as this is concerned. So I'm gonna leave this the way it is, and later on down the line, after I get through several of these sabers, if I decide to go back and remake the switch and grip sections, with their alternates, then I might do that. So I think the other thing that I was thinking about doing was when I'm making connections, right? When I'm making the connections for these pieces to fit together, the pommel will have the same connection into the sleeve as the sleeve would have into the switch, so that you could put another switch on this end and then have another emitter and have something that's double bladed if you wanted. So I think my initial thought of having different connections for each type of piece was a little bit too restrictive, and I think I'm going to go back and redo Peace and Justice so it has the same connection across parts, so that you're still restricted by male versus female parts, which of course I could make just an adapter, so you could basically create whatever monstrosity you want to make. What's going on here? Why is that? Oh, did I do it again? Where's my extrude command? Edit feature, new body. Aha! I have to remember to uncheck the keep tools thing, because then I end up with all these weird copies of things. That might have been what happened with this weird copy of the sleeve portion, is that somewhere in there I had a combined command that had keep tools, and that made it copy itself. Maybe it was this one. No, that was not set for keep tools. No. Well, it's in there somewhere probably. Doesn't really matter since I have that turned off. But yeah, that's that one. Woohoo! Let's go ahead and make the connections, because I don't think I'm ready to start a new lightsaber yet. So the connection that I think the best was the 10-sided polygon, which is on the emitter end, because it's closer to a circle shape, and it's 10-sided, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, closer to a circle shape, and I feel like it's maybe a little bit stronger. And if I ever do decide to go in and make like a snap joint for it, it'd be pretty easy. So I think we're going to use Decagons for all of these. I do need to make sure that they're all the same size, so I should probably keep this open. Just turn on the ones that I need. If I can find sketch. Yep, there you are. Okay, so it's 18.5 with a 2.5 millimeter offset. That should be pretty easy to replicate, I think. We're just going to turn off all that stuff. Oh, that's right. I need to make it where the blade is going to stop on something. Should probably do that now, honestly. We'll just go ahead and 22.3. Basically, this is where the light's going to come out. The LED. So all I'm going to do, finish that sketch and extrude this up a little bit. That gives it a little bit of a lip for where so that the blade has something that it stops on when you insert it into the emitter end. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go in here and do our 30 millimeter hole as well, because what we're going to do is we're going to take this back. Take that back 10, and then we'll take this little lip and go from I think that's right. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so it is working. Yep, there it is. Little lip. Hit OK on that. Alright. Now you got a little bit more room for electronics. Little edge for the blade to stop on. And now we can make our Decagon. So create polygon. And it was 18.5. Right? Yep, 18.5. And a 2.5 offset. So then create offset. Where is it? Offset. There we go. And the depth that I had on these guys, what was it? 10. I was gonna guess 10, but I wanted to make sure. So 10 out that way. And create another new sketch as an offset of this by 0.1. And then we want switch. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, duh. Okay, hang on. Let's not do that. Okay, we got that fixed. Let's make sure that things are going to be fitting the way that they should. Because I believe, yep, I left a gap. So, just need to grab this and move it as close as I can without overlapping. Okay, cool. That works for me. Alright, so then I can just turn off the emitter and create a sketch on this guy. Polygon, circumscribed. And we want to go 18.6, 10 sides. So we want it ever so slightly larger so that it's easier to put the pieces together. Probably still have to sand it a little bit, but there we go. Alright, so there's that piece. Got the emitter and that part done. Okay, now I need to make it for this one. Should be the rinse and repeat because we want we always want one end to be male, one end to be female, so that they join sort of in the same order, I guess. Well, let me think about this. So, if your emitter end is a male, switch is female to male, then sleeve would be female to male, makes the pommel female. And so then if you tried to put sleeve to sleeve, you would end up with male to male. It'd be easier if you ended up with female to female, because then all I have to do is make an adapter. So basically on this end of the sleeve it needs to be female, and then male out this way, which means that the switch is female female. Emitter's male, female female, male female, and then that means that the pommel is male. Yeah, then that works if you want to make something double bladed. Okay, so this needs to be female, not male. So we'll grab that. Everything seems okay so far there. Alright, so that means this guy's going to be... Get rid of that. Alright, so this is going to be a male end. That's 18.5, 10 sides, offset 2.5. And then extrude that. Alright, so then that means that this side's got to be female. Yep, okay. Which is 18.6, 10 sides. Okay, and then that means that our pommel get rid of all this stuff out of the way. There we go. Okay, and then our pommel .5 sides, offset 2.5, finish, extrude 10. Cool. I still have a gap there, so just need to scooch that over. Oh, that'd be really cool, Tim. I'd like to see it. Close enough on that one. And then need to grab the and Pommel. Close enough. We already closed the gap on that one. So, hey, what the heck? Oh, that's that copy. Alright, so that should be all of our connections. Yep, okay, so switches are female-female. Emitters are male. Pommels are male. Sleeves are male-female. Alright, let's save this. Okay. Let's take a look at some of the other ones that I've been thinking about doing next, and I think the next sort of basic one, there's two of them that I've been thinking about. One of them is called Power and Control, which is this guy here, the secondary version, like that. Not sure which one I like better, honestly, on this one. I feel like this version is good, but for some reason this one seems to make more sense to me. Even though the grip section is kind of weird, I don't know. This one sort of speaks to me more than this guy does. So but this one makes more sense. So I think it's going to be between this one, and then there's one called Valor and Wisdom, which also has two versions. And definitely the one that makes more sense is this configuration. This configuration is just weird to me. So we have Power and Control versus Valor and Wisdom. Noting that this part where they sort of split, where it splits into two, that would be where we would put our pommel as opposed to making it into a double. I think on Peace versus Justice, I gotta remember what we did here, because I think what did I do? Nope, that's not the one we did. Is that the one we did? That's the one we did. Ah. So, like, this whole section here should not have existed. Because of the way that it mirrors. Which means we're going to lose oh man, I'm going to lose like 2 inches off of this thing. Yeah, this one I'm gonna have to do some reworking on this to get it to be correct. because I mean I have to undo all the connections anyway, but the in our reference here, this is technically the end of the lightsaber, where you would hook up another sleeve to make it into a double-bladed saber, where you'd have the coupler in the middle. Whereas in this one, or no, what did I do? No, I kept the length, but instead of having the arrows go both ways, I did something. Oh, that's right. I just extended these a little bit and made it longer. So maybe this one would be okay the way it is. I mean, the length is already good. Just need to change the connections. So maybe I'll just leave that alone. And then if you decided to hook up the same sleeve on the other side, it would end up a pretty long double-bladed lightsaber. But then again, like, oh, okay. The movie hilt of the Darth Maul lightsaber was 21 inches long. So if you doubled this, you'd end up with almost, maybe a little bit longer than that, I think. Because the overall length of this guy is, let's see, so 310. Oof. Yeah, you'd end up with a 24-inch hilt if you doubled this one up. If I removed this midsection here and shortened it up a little bit, it'd be instead of being 12.2 inches, if I took it down to, if I just took 1 inch out somewhere, then I would end up with, if you doubled it, then you'd end up with 22-inch hilt, which that's not as bad. This guy, if you turned this into a double saber, or no, because you lose the pommel. Duh. Without the pommel, then it's only 280. Then it's 22 inches. 22-inch hilt if you put two of them together, and that's really close to the Darth Maul size. So, okay, I did okay, and I didn't know. I was doing just fine, and I didn't know. So yeah, so when you lose the pommel, and then you imagine doubling this for a double-bladed hilt, you end up with, on this one it's a little bit shorter. This one you'd end up right at 21 inches. If you doubled this over, you'd end up with basically a Darth Maul double-bladed saber. Peace and Justice just ended up being kind of long, and I think part of that is the emitter end is kind of long. So anyway, back to the decision-making process. Let me close out what I don't need. Okay. So we've got Valor and Wisdom versus Power and Control. Power and Control, I really like the emitter end on it. I think the vent area is kind of fun. The grip section is cool because it's got the rectangles cut out of it in different areas, which I had some ideas on on how to accomplish that. And then it's got a really cool switch section here. Really neat thing there. Valor and Wisdom. It's got some more classic elements to it. The grip section and the emitter section is something that is very reminiscent of, like, you know, Anakin's saber. Not precisely, but it's got that feel to it. I'm kind of leaning towards power and control because I think this one could be a cool one to start. Let's watch the video of power and control. Yeah, lots of interesting shapes going on with that switch area. The vents are kind of tricky. Like my eyes want to tell me that it's flat here and that it bevels only on one side, but like you can see the shape is continuous. Like it is just a bunch of basically fins that are chamfered as it goes along there. And the emitter end is really cool. It's like I can't see exactly what's going on in the middle there, but you can see that, you know, this angle here, and then there's a cylinder that comes up the middle of it and stops just short. That could be a really interesting shape to build. So I think this is going to be our next build, is power and control too. Before we jump into that, let's grab our appearance panel, wherever it ended up. Where are you? Just in render mode, I guess. Okay, appearance. We're going to go with aluminum. In the video game, you can pick from different materials as well that your saber is made out of. So a saber like this, you could probably not a whole lot longer. I'm gonna set this up with an appearance for rendering, and sort of walk through that process, and then probably call it an early night. So not terribly much longer. But like in the game, you can select from several different kinds of materials. Let me pull up a picture. So you can see material Duraplast. That's the material that I'm using in general for all of these, because it's easier to do a white and black contrast to pick up on the shapes and whatnot. And you know, I just noticed this really interesting pommel on this picture here. I like that one. That one's pretty cool. It's like looks like maybe an octagon or something, or maybe it's just got flat faces with a curve around each side. But I like it. I think it's cool. It's got those little details where the D-ring is. We might use that for inspiration for one of these other pieces. But there's like every kind of metal that you could want in the game. Like copper, doing polished copper on this, like that could be really cool for this piece especially. And I'll change the environment here in a minute so that we can see it a little bit better. Go ahead and close that environment, I think. scene settings. There we go. We want to go with grid lights, I think. Yeah. There we go. And it looks so cool in copper. It's a little bit too polished and shiny. Maybe I can find something that's a little bit more, that's not going to reflect the light so heavily. Oh, copper patina. That could be interesting. Let's see what that looks like. Of course, the in-window renderer is not super awesome. But then, like, for the other details that appear black, we can go into paint, and we'll go with metallic black, and if we click on faces, I can pick an individual face. If I can get close enough, pick an individual face and put that black on. I'm not sure what that gray weirdness is there. And of course, this doesn't really do anything to the 3D print, because when you 3D print it, it's all one color. But it does certainly add something to the 3D model render. So when somebody is looking at the files to potentially purchase them, it looks way better if you have like really nice renders of the lightsaber, or of whatever it is that you're going after. Alright, so there and there. And yep, just like I thought, right inside the button area there. And oh yeah, inside those grooves. Kind of hard to get to if you're not zoomed in. Come on. Grab it. There we go. And yep, as I thought, the emitter end, I want that to be accentuated a little bit. Get those faces black. And that one too. It's sort of like, I mean, it's just an easier way of painting because it knows the faces versus the bodies. I think if you group your stuff into like components, that it's a little bit easier to paint individual parts. I know that when I was making fancy renders of like the swords and stuff, I had to sort of break up the sword into more pieces so I could paint those parts individually instead of painting every individual face like I'm having to right now. Yep, okay. There, I think. Oh. No? No, that's not. It's no faces. There we go. Come on. This. Thank you. I didn't think it was that part, but I guess it was. Because in the picture, it's or no. I see. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong part. I was looking at this. Because this should be there, yes. Like that. But then this should be there. And we'll put our copper patina back where it belongs. Like that. And then for this part, I think yeah, I don't think that needs much, honestly. We're going to leave that the way it is. And I'm not going to paint all of these bits around the outside. I just want to get enough of them so that when we're looking at it in the viewer, then that's all, you know, just the parts that you can see, essentially. If I go like that, and we pull that up a little bit. There we go. I'm really curious to see how the render turns out with the copper. And see if it's good or not. That's probably going to take a few minutes. I probably should have done that and then started talking about the next lightsaber that we want to do. I think at Disney, their power and control definitely way different than what we're doing. Like I could see a little bit of similarity, but actually you could see here, they use the fins that we have on our passion and strength. And even that vent section is really similar to what we have going on. It just looks a lot more elongated, and the emitter is way different on this one. But you can see where it's kind of similar. This one seems to be more of the power and control, like what we've been doing. But they have their grip and vent section swapped. Hi Jesse, welcome to the stream. Thanks for dropping in. Unfortunately, I'm getting close to being done with this one. I do like the pommel that they use on this one because I think that'll be really good. Just looking at this drawing makes me sort of push towards maybe doing this as the grip section, like it is in this image, as opposed to doing the grip section like that. But like I said, I might end up doing mix and match parts anyway, so I might end up might end up having this like build it one way and then swap some parts around. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, that looks so cool. Oh, working in Jeff City, huh? Yeah, I understand. Here, let me open this up so it's bigger. Take up the whole screen. There we go. Yeah, that patinaed copper that they have, really really neat material. Might experiment with some others to kind of just show off the different versions that the renderer can do, but otherwise this is pretty good. Might also go back and make the, instead of metallic black, maybe use something a little more satin or more. Yes, I just might. Might go with something a little more satin or even flat black on those inner parts, because like the really glossy effect might, it's kind of detracting from it. I love the satiny sheen of the copper patina though. I think that works really well. So yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, rendering in this in this program is pretty easy. So you probably want to take time to make it pretty and give it a material and paint the different faces. But then whenever you kind of want to reset everything, you can just unassign um, unassign the different materials, and then usually what I do for stuff I'm going to upload is, if I can pull it up here, I'll go with a plastic matte white material for all my parts. Because that's kind of what it would look like if you printed it in white filament, and it's easier to see like the different textures and facets a little bit, whenever it's just one solid matte color. And so I usually will render it like this, and then I'll render it in standard like straight on views, so that people can get a really good idea of what this model looks like from several angles, and that tends to help. In this particular instance, I'd probably turn off the reflections, and I would do a solid color background instead of the environment. And then, like, I could go totally white as the background, but I always find that to be just a little too bright. So I usually soften it a little bit, or could go like really dark gray. Yeah, dark gray looks much better with the white. So this is what I would go with for rendering like a view that I want to represent sort of just the model. Like I make one render that's really pretty and has the metallic and the the different colors painted in there. I wonder if I could figure out a way. Here, let's get rid of that. Okay, yes, go ahead, render it. Just let me get back to what I was doing. Did I break you? What's going on? Yeah. Of course, my software is having some issues. Okay, well, I guess now would be a really good time to just go ahead and say goodnight, because I have no idea how long this is going to take for it to wake up or give up or whatever it needs to do. We saved the model where it needed to be saved, so I think we'll be okay. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me tonight on 3D modeling. 3D modeling will happen again on next Monday. I might try to bump it back a little bit earlier in the evening, maybe 7:30 or even 7 on some nights if I can, just so it doesn't get too late for people, because I know not everybody out there is a night owl, though I know some of you are. And Wednesdays are leather crafting. So this coming Wednesday, I'll be working on a dice vault project that I started last Wednesday, and we'll probably be finishing that up. And it looks pretty cool. So be sure to join up on Wednesday around 8 o'clock on Twitch or Facebook to see what's up with the leather project. And, oh, apparently it went ahead and rendered. Interesting. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah. It's still being weird, but okay. Well, anyway. So, good night, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely want to see you again. Tell your friends that this is a thing and invite them to the next one so that maybe we can get a few more viewers in here. But until then,